Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Flex and Reflex Sunday Sit Down. I'm going to try and answer questions a bit more quickly today and get through a few more. What is the most dramatic transformation story you've witnessed in your career, and what were the key factors to that client's success? Well, it's hard to single out one. It's a bit like saying to an actor, what's your favorite movie or that you're in. I've had so many that for different reasons have been really powerful. I mean, I've got a client, for instance, that has lost 93 kilos, which is close to 200 pounds, maybe. And so I'll talk about one that I'm working with at the moment. Now, so I think she's up to about 70 kilos of weight loss, which is about 160 pounds, something like that. But it's not the weight that she has lost, the fat that she's lost. It's the other factors that have resulted in her losing that amount of weight. So it starts with here, because this isn't somebody that got it from day one. In fact, it's taken a few years for them to realize that, okay, I need to be consistent with my training. I need to, because showing up for the training, the workout is the easy part. It's what happens away from the workout that is the tricky part. So, they'd worked out that, okay, they need to be consistent with their strength training. They need to move more. They have a sedentary job, so they need to move more each day and progressively increasing the amount of movement that they get. And it's just walking. It's not like super strenuous. And then the biggest one was around just coming to terms with changing the consistency and the health of the food that they were eating, and making that connection. Well, if I want to achieve a certain result, I need to get these other things right first. And then getting some key supplements for them. I'm just talking about vitamins here, to just raise their overall level of health. And this is somebody that lost complete confidence in themselves, confidence in their body. And then the result has been the 70 plus kilos of fat loss. So to me, that's dramatic, because it's somebody that, obviously, it's a completely different lifestyle to get to that point, the starting point, to then be able to switch all that around. And to me, that's what I love, when somebody gets that mindset connection. Like, I've got another client that I worked with him for, a couple of years before we were having the same sorts of conversations. And I said, look, you've got to tap into those things that really drive you and what excite you about your health, your wellness, and so forth. And I put out a whole bunch of different things for him to get into. And then one day he went and tried one of the things that I said, which was essentially getting out on a bike and having a little bit of a ride. And then that kind of just flicked a switch within him, and he then started to go into some endurance events, and completely switched his focus around, because he was all business, all about his family, and the health was coming number third. And so he was kind of flip-flopping from one to the other, but health was always down here. And so once he made that switch, that's when that changed, and then his business results improved. And the other aspects of his life changed as well. So they are the things that I really love, and that's what I call dramatic, because that's a major switch than what's going on up here in the way that you process how important that is for you. Next question: what are your personal favorite exercises, and how have they evolved over your fitness journey? Well, some bodybuilding judges years ago told me that my legs were my strongest point. And I'd never thought about it until they had said, oh, wow, your legs look good. And I was like, oh, really? I've never really looked at them that way. And it's interesting, because when I think about what I started to really enjoy in my training, I started doing powerlifting and that kind of stuff. That's how I started my training back in 1988. And it was those barbell squats. So the bars across the back of your back, your shoulders, and deep squats. And I think the heaviest I got to was 155 kg. So given that I weigh, around 60, I think now I'm around 69 kilos, something like that. that's a big weight if you work out the body to weight ratio there. I used to really love that, and then it's been over the years that I just like the shape of my legs and stuff. So I suppose I've loved leg exercise. I always loved the barbell squats. Years ago, just with my daughter, I hurt my lower back, and I can't do heavy ones of those anymore. So, but I still like to train my legs. So I do like the 45-degree angle leg press and single leg press in there as well, which is really powerful. That really burns. So that's probably my favorite one. Something to train with my legs. I'd say that's probably my favorite. Used to love deadlifts as well, but similar thing to my back. I mean, when I first started training, a hex bar didn't exist. Now that's the main tool I use to teach people to do a deadlift, because I find that it's just more natural. Your hands are down by your side, and yeah, so I still do those. I don't go very heavy though, but that's a great exercise. If you're only ever going to do one exercise, that'd be the one that I'd suggest you do, because it's really good. Okay, how do you balance intense physical training with mental and emotional well-being? Okay, so for me, with that one, I'd say it's all in the recovery. If you think about, it's what I do like about Netflix, where you can get to see the behind the scenes of the best athletes in the world, and you look at their schedules, whether it be NBA, whether it be NFL, whether it be soccer, cycling, any of those types of events, and you hear those number ones, even the tennis players and stuff, and you hear what those number one people are saying about how do they back up. So like some of these, like basketball, they might play three matches in a week, and they're traveling and all that kind of stuff. And like, just think if that was you and you're living out of a suitcase, and now you've played, you're exhausted, you're sore, you've taken hits and stuff. Now you've got to travel. Now you're living in a different room. You're getting used to different pillows and mattresses and all that kind of stuff, different food, different water, all that kind of stuff, which might sound silly, but until you've done it and you realize what your body goes through, and whether it be flights, whether it be bus trips, whatever, it's a lot. And so they talk about the recovery and how important that is in then being able to back up for that next game, that next thing. And so that's the main thing when in answering that question. It's all in the recovery. So what are you doing to actively recover? So today being Sunday, I've done my fourth workout for the week. I've just done it like half an hour, finished it half an hour ago. I've fueled myself. I will do, in about an hour's time, I'll go for a walk, about a 5-kilometre walk, not a fast-paced walk, just a walk, to help get the tension out of the legs and the body and stuff, and just tick off that one that I've done my movement for today. And another thing for me, like it's getting colder here in autumn, I love a nice hot bath. I have a couple of those a week at this time of the year. And what that does for me is obviously it's soaking the body, it's allowing the muscles to kind of recover, but also the mindset. And this is the part of the mental part of the question that you're asking, because if you feel like you're overtraining and just that relentless grind of training, and as well as all the other life stuff that you have going on, then it can really wear you down. And so I'm really in tune with my body. I know when I need to have a break, and if I do these things consistently, then that helps me really take care of my body and the mental part of me as well. I also have some wind down processes. I have a very intense life in terms of my schedule with clients and coaching sessions, like 6 days a week. Like Sunday's the only day that I don't have client-facing time, but I'm planning out the week ahead and reviewing the week that was and see how do I keep making progress. Every day I'm looking to grow myself, doing some self-development work with my coach, which is really important for me as well. And then just, I might play a few games on the phone and stuff to just, switch things off. I'll watch a movie. A lot of the time I struggle to just watch a movie because I feel like, man, I could be doing other things. So I'm kind of listening, watching, doing stuff on the phone or my iPad or whatever as well, just to keep on progressing me. And then I'll just read different sorts of things, whether it be Wall Street Journal, whether it be something to do with like a muscle and fitness magazine, an old one, or something that's going to help me grow for my business, I'll do that. And for me, doing all of those things help me make sure that I can back up for that next session and really keep that balance, as well as obviously spending time with my daughter as well. All right, can you share a personal nutrition tip that has dramatically improved your health or performance? So there's probably a few things here. Like when I first started training, I didn't use whey protein and things like that. I mean, back in 1988, the whole protein space was like whey protein and supplements was a very different space to what it is now. There were, a range of different products, but it wasn't, you walk down, like the shelves of supermarkets, which you couldn't find this stuff anywhere in supermarkets back in the 80s. You had to go to specific sports performance, supplement stores, health food stores, that kind of stuff. So the things that I personally find have really helped me, like just increasing the amount of protein in my daily eating is really important to complement the training that I'm doing. Whey protein, a high quality whey protein. I only go for whey protein products that have been athlete approved and might be called something different where you are. So what that means is that they've been tested, and each batch is tested to make sure that there's no banned supplements or anything like that, or substances I should say, in those products. So that's really important for me. Creatine monohydrate is another one that helps me with recovery and so forth as well. And the other ones would be like just omega-3. So whether that be fish oil tablets or oil, and flax products. So flax meal is the main one that I consume, very rich in omega-3, and that just helps with my immune system, inflammation, and so forth. Because our Western diets are very high in omega-6 and not omega-3, so they are the key ones for me. Okay, what mindset shift do you think is crucial for someone just starting their fitness journey? Okay, so I think a lot of people, when they can first start having conversations with me, is that they're looking for that quick fix. I mean, we're in this society these days where we would just want something like really quick like that. It's like, oh, you want that, bang, oh, dang. You think, oh, I'd like to buy something, and you get an idea, you find it on your phone, bang, tick, done. It's on its way. And if it's with Amazon, it could be here the same day, or it could be here tomorrow or the next day. Like back, like in my parents' day, for instance, if they wanted to buy, I don't know, a new TV, which was like this big in colour and had rabbit ears, then they'd save up for it and wait till they had the money, and then they'd go to the shop and they would buy it. So I think we have conditioned ourselves for this instantaneous gratification in what it is that we want. So for me, the biggest tip I could say is you've got to make it about your lifestyle, right? Think about the things that you want to change and make healthy in your lifestyle. The result is what you want, is a byproduct of those other habits. So don't focus on the end result. Focus on what are the behaviors that are going to lead you to that result. Because you get those right and you get those consistent, that's what we call a healthy lifestyle. Then you'll get the result that you want. That's the biggest tip that you need to make when you're starting out. Like, connect with what it is that you want to start with, why that's important to you. Be committed to it. You've got to be 100% committed to it. And then you get in place those key fundamentals to help you get that result. No quick fixes, no weird diets and stuff. Okay, what is one underrated exercise you believe more people should incorporate into their routine, and what? Oh, I mentioned this before, deadlifts. I would say deadlifts is a significant one. Everybody should do it, even the elderly. Why? Because it's a functional lift. How many times do you think you've got to squat down, pick something up off the floor, that kind of stuff? It's very underrated. It's a powerful exercise. We should all do it, but most people don't know how to do it properly. So technique is super, super important. Like I said, I start on a hex bar. You never go super heavy until you have been training for a long time to get your technique spot on. All right. What common barriers do you find your clients face, and how do you help them overcome these? Well, I just touched on this before. It's creating those lifestyle habits. That is the biggest challenge. People have been like by the time, like the average age of my clients is around 41, something like that. And so if you think about the number of years, like it could be decades that people have been living their life a certain way, embedding these perhaps unhealthy habits into their life. And you can't just go bang, just like that, because they've embedded them week after week after week. Now, my belief is it takes about 90 or more days to start to form those empowering habits, and it only takes about 3 to get those disempowering habits back in. So the biggest thing is to know that there are no quick fixes. Create that lifestyle that's going to support you for the rest of your life using those healthy habits. How do you adapt workouts for clients who are over 50 and looking to stay fit or become fit? I think I've mentioned this a few times before in these calls. So look, the age really doesn't matter. What I do is look at, so where's the person at? What is every single person is different. Some people have different like physical issues with them that restrict certain things that they can do, can't do. So it's a case of saying, well, where are you? What are you at right now? Like I'm training a client at the moment who's 60 and he wants to shed a few kilos, but he's able to do everything. And we just gradually, increase the weight. So it's an individualized thing. So it's saying where you are, what's your goal, what can you do safely? And often that requires some experimentation. Like I know a lot of like young trainers, for instance, you see out there, they give people these programs that are high impact, that are really not going to help the person progress. In fact, they're going to make them worse. And that just comes down to inexperience. And we've really got to make sure that we look at what can an individual cope with. So the elderly clients that I've trained before, it's a case of, all right, kind of like I'd say, suck it and see, and let's say, okay, let's try this movement. Tell me what you feel. And if there is any joint movement, joint pain, it's the wrong exercise. So we need to find something else. And sometimes you might have to try 2 or 3 things before we find the thing that is going to, yep, there's no pain. I feel like the muscle pump. That's the one to stick to. Let's progress from there. All right. So let's see if we get through 2 more. What's one habit you believe contributes most to your health and success? Simple, daily habits. Those daily healthy habits that you can embed from one day to the next. So for me, it's about my food. It's about my training, my strength training. It's about getting my steps up. I don't do intense cardio. It's about getting my 5 to 6 healthy meals in a day. It's about growing my mindset. It's about, for me, I'm very left brain, so it's about creating those priorities that I want to achieve for today. I put 5 down each day. I schedule them in my calendar. I do that. I make sure I'm progressing. I work with my coach every day. And those habits daily are what help me get to where I am now. Continuous improvement. And just really having that mantra that I'm going to make this day better than next. How can I keep showing up as the best version of myself? Last question. Where do you see the future of PT and fitness heading in the next few years? Well, honestly, look, I went to the Fitness Expo here in Melbourne, Australia. Greatest disappointment. I was there for literally 15 minutes, walked around everything, and I think, man, if this is the future of fitness, we're in strife. For me, I think it's going to be less about body image, more about healthy lifestyle. More and more people are coming to me talking about health. They're not talking about weight loss compared to 15 years ago where they were. It's about lifestyle. It's about mental health. That's where I think the future of all of this is going and should go, because it's getting worse and worse for people. And a little bit like those quick fixes that I was talking about before. People are looking for these quick fixes. We want holistic, healthy lifestyle change. And that's where I think the future needs to be and will go. And more tailored approaches, I think, to people. I think people work perhaps less online and wanting more that one-on-one interaction with the people so that they can understand, well, how do I do this specifically for me, not some generic thing. So that's it for today. Thanks for all the questions. They were great ones today. See you next week.